Evacuations of two besieged cities in Ukraine are being delayed amid reports that Russia is violating a temporary ceasefire. Earlier, Moscow announced a 5-hour halt to its attacks on Volnovakha and the strategic port city of Mariupol in southeastern Ukraine to allow civilians access to a safe humanitarian corridor. But officials in Mariupol say Russian forces are not observing the ceasefire along the entire route. The city is without water and power and is running out of food after being surrounded by Russian forces.
After days of relentless shelling in the key port city of Mariupol, Russia has said it will stop firing and allow civilians to flee. President Zelensky confirmed the ceasefire also applies here in the nearby city of Volnovakha, which has also seen heavy fighting.
Humanitarian corridors will work today in Mariupol and Volnovakha to save people, especially women, children, elderly people, to provide those who will stay with food and medicine. Our aid is on the way. All who need help must have an opportunity to leave.
But the two cities are far from the only areas devastated by Russian bombardment. Zelensky has been pleading with NATO to set up a no-fly zone to stop Russian airstrikes like this one outside Kyiv. But NATO has ruled that out. An all-out war in Europe, that's what the alliance wants to avoid, according to US Secretary of State Antony Blinken.
The only way to actually implement something like a no-fly zone is to send NATO planes into Ukrainian airspace and to shoot down Russian planes, and that could lead to a full-fledged war in Europe. President Biden has been clear that we are not going to get into a war with Russia.
As fighting enters the 10th day, the situation in Ukraine becomes more and more desperate. Casualties are mounting, and over 1 million people have now fled the country. There are reports of severe food and water shortages in some cities, including Kyiv. In the occupied city of Mariupol to the south, Russian soldiers hand out food. It's the second city in Ukraine said to be under the invaders' control after Kherson. With Russian forces on the move across the country and NATO ruling out intervention, people here are preparing for a long, bitter battle ahead.
DW correspondent Matthias Bullinger joins us from Kyiv. Matthias, I wanted to start by asking you about that humanitarian situation in Mariupol and surrounds. Mariupol's authorities, Deputy Mayor, saying the humanitarian ceasefire is not being upheld. What more can you tell us?
Well, we've heard that the situation is really dire in Mariupol. We've seen that. We've seen news from the past few days. Some pictures have made it out that much of the city has been damaged or destroyed, and people have been hiding in shelters for days. There's no water and no electricity. There has been no water or no electricity for some days now, and it seems to be very, very bad there. The city is surrounded by the Russian forces from three sides, from the land side and from the seaside. There's the Russian Navy, so it's very dire. There was a corridor was planned to evacuate people from there, and we've heard that it has not happened. That Russian forces have continued to shell the city. That's what the mayor has said. We have no information, of course, no real-time information of what's going on in the city.
Now, you've just arrived back in Kyiv. What's the situation where you are today?
Well, you can see this Maidan, which is usually quite a busy square, and the center of Kyiv is almost completely empty. There are a few other journalists, and then some people are crossing the square maybe to get home or so, but very few people on the street. The city feels almost empty. Many people have left the city. So far, it's quiet. We've heard from people here that they have been hiding in bomb shelters for quite some time. There have also been bombs coming down on the city in the past few days. At the moment, it's very calm, eerily quiet, eerily empty.
Is there a big difference from when you were there a few days ago in the terms of that feeling, that sense of what's going on there?
It had started already a few days ago when we left the city, and we heard frequent bomb alarms there. And this area was also empty. The difference is that we see a lot more military now, roadblocks, etc., etc. So the feeling is definitely that it has gotten worse or more tense here. That's for sure.
All right, Matthias, thank you for that update. Matthias Bullinger in Kyiv. Maria Siroshenko is a resident of that besieged city, Mariupol, that we've been speaking about. She's now safely evacuated and in the western city of Lviv. She joins me now. Maria, thanks so much for joining us, and I'm very happy to hear that you've been evacuated from Mariupol. Your family, however, is still there. What are they telling you? What are you hearing about the situation there?
Hi. Yes, the situation in Mariupol is getting worse, and I didn't hear from my relatives, from my family, from my grandma and my friends for the 5th day in a row. They don't have any electricity, they don't have heat, and there is no mobile connection in the city for the 5th days. And there is a lack of food and water in the city. And right now we are trying constantly to reach them. We are trying to call them, but still no luck. And this morning, there was some news that the evacuation might start right now, the official news. However, since the Russians didn't cease the fire, the citizens of Mariupol still can't go out of the city because it's not safe. So I'm really worried about my family and everyone in Mariupol.
So a full 5 days that you haven't been able to contact any of your friends or family in the city?
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, well, tell us a little bit about your evacuation, when you left and the journey there to Lviv.
Yeah, basically I left Kyiv because I was in Kyiv when the war started. I was there for 2 days and 2 nights. We were hiding in the basement, and we were hearing all the attacks going there. But after 2 days, right before the bridge was basically exploded, we managed to leave Kyiv. I drove with my car and with my friends, and right now I'm in Lviv. It took maybe a few days of the journey because there were some shortages of gas during our course, and right now we are safe in Lviv.
So what's your next step then? Are you planning to stay there in Lviv until you hear word from your family, or are you looking to evacuate Ukraine altogether?
Well, it's a hard question because right now what I can do, I try to help here. I try to volunteer a bit, and we have some people here who want to buy medicines, and especially the medicines which is really difficult to find in Ukraine, in Lviv. So we are trying to get them from Poland, and this is maybe the main mission. And also we are trying to find some humanitarian help and to provide it to Kyiv and to other cities which are not closed or surrounded like Mariupol, because currently there is no way to provide humanitarian help to Mariupol because the city is surrounded.
Among your friends and family, all the people that you speak to there, even strangers on the street, is there still that sense of defiance that we've been hearing about and determination?
Absolutely. People are sure that we will win. People want to defend their country, and I'm 100% sure that we will not stop fighting. So I'm in Lviv. The atmosphere is really strong, and people are looking for the equipment to our soldiers, and we want to do everything that we can to help our army and our people.
Maria Siroshenko, I wish you all the very best. Stay safe, and thank you very much for speaking to us today.
Thank you.
People around the world have been rallying in support of Ukraine. President Volodymyr Zelensky has spoken to crowds of demonstrators via video link, urging them to keep showing solidarity. Tens of thousands gathered in Prague, the Czech capital, to voice their outrage against the war. And in Georgia, a country that has a troubled relationship with Russia, people filled the streets of the capital, Tbilisi, many waving Ukrainian flags. There were further shows of support in other major European cities, though demonstrations have been banned in Russia.